in the early hours of the morning, I I I was told that Johnny had passed away, and at first I didn't believe it. So Joe was kind enough to tell me, and at first I was just sort of in shock. I was like, I need to have I need to research into it. I need to have a look. This was in like the early hours of the morning after I'd watched the Tyson and Jake Paul match, and I was like half asleep as I'm like trying to take this in, being told that that Johnny had taken his life, and then this morning when I had a look, and I was looking at his videos, and just seeing that decline of how he was over the last couple of weeks. Yeah, that I am very sorry to say that, yeah, he has passed away. And for me, it's heartbreaking because he was such a good guy who, I don't think I've ever known someone who genuinely wanted to take care of people as well as he did. He's probably one of the most honourable and courageous people that I had the opportunity to work with over the years. And it broke my heart looking through those videos and just seeing just the problems that he had. And I had no idea. And the impression that I've got from like people commenting and other people as well, that no one had any idea, that he didn't really reach out to people and let them know. And my handkerchief gone. And I wanted to understand what led him to his decision. And I think what makes it more painful is that he's the sort of fourth friend that I've had in this industry that I've known who's taken their lives. You know, it's. I mean, I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I mean, let alone one death, but to have had four people. But I wanted to understand what exactly had happened to him, and I went onto his channel and I was watching the videos back, and I went back, started about what looked like 4 weeks ago, and just how he just I've never known so many bad things to happen for someone, and yet he appeared to just be handling it so gracefully as well. So you can have a look at his videos, although I don't really recommend doing it unless you really want to just understand what such a good guy he was. But it seems he lost his best friend to suicide recently. It seems he came out of a bad breakup as well. His OCD got the better of him, as well as his mental health issues came back. He got himself into financial debt. And you just kind of watch this like sinkhole effect in his content, where it's almost like each video, like things seem to be getting worse and worse, but yet he just handles it just so well, and just gives the impression, like, you know, that like any coach who's gone through hell and just knows how to advise someone else, he just in his videos, he just looks like he's just handling it gracefully, like he's just taking it on the chin, like that it's just like as if it's nothing. And yet, you know, I don't even know where I'm going with my words, to be honest. And then just to hear him taking his life has just generally just left me shocked today. I've cried on and off over the day. I've found myself feeling quite disorientated, I suppose, as well. And it's just, I just generally wish that I'd have known sooner that he was going through these problems. And I've had to deal with that a lot in this industry over the years. I mean, it's no secret that I've, you know, on my channel, I've spoken about the mental health side of things with like dating coaches and their clients as well. And I have seen and dealt with a lot over the 16 years. I've had to counsel people. I've had to give them support through mental breakdowns, through overdosing on drugs, through self-harming and trying to commit suicide, and having to be there to either rush them to the hospital or call the hospital or try and put my fingers down their throats to try and get them to throw up their the pills that they've swallowed. And I don't even know where, honestly, I don't even know where I'm going. I just feel very disorientated with all of this. And just to see that decline, just to watch it, the week by week, and then reading the comment that he put on his last day that he must have been alive. It just broke me today. Let's see if I can just bring it up. But it just why he didn't reach out to people, or maybe he did. I think, in fact, I'm sure in one of the videos that I saw, he said that he'd gone to the doctor for support, and that he'd reached out to certain like advice things, and it just, yeah, here we go. So as far as I gather, this was he posted this on the day that he did take his life. He put, "I'm really struggling financially at the moment. I want to get some money together to pay for ERP therapy for my OCD. If anyone can help with an amount, I'd be really grateful. Regards, Jonathan." I just wish I'd have known. He did such good things for people, and for the dating industry as well. The things we did together changed how a lot of the stuff I was taught in this industry. And he went through so many hard times, and people gave him so much shit during all that time, especially from like all the pickup people saying like, "Oh, you know, you can't be natural, you can't be authentic and genuine and all this crap." And there he was, he just took it, and he just took it on the chin. And I remember when we were working together, the amount of times that we sort of like joked about it. and how we talk about how, oh yeah, it was, it was good for business. It was, this idea of like natural versus lines and routines, and how as much as people, gave him flack for, being who he is and just like made out like he was just some joker, we kind of always joked it was a bit like the wrestling, a bit like WWF, and how like on camera everyone kind of hates each other, but behind the scenes everyone really sort of respects each other. Everyone's like really encouraging of the fact like, oh wow, you changed your life for the better, and like, oh, you did too, and and oh, we're able to help other guys with that as well, and and it was a real honor to work with Johnny. It really was. And because of him, I wouldn't really be in this industry. I really wouldn't. He was such an inspiration. In a sense, just like how he really wanted to look after people, how he made sure that, every client he worked with came first, and how he really wanted to make a difference for them. And there's certainly stories that stand out to me. I remember when we did like client transformations on his channel, and there were guys that he worked with who had like speech impediments, they had lisps, they had so much social anxiety, they'd never had like a girlfriend, or they'd never had dates before or kissed a girl, and there he was taking them out, working with them on their confidence, and months later they were just getting the kind of like happiness that they were looking for, and he genuinely cared. Like every single day he would be reaching out to people and checking in with them, and he just had this like Cockney charm about him that that was him. That was him, and he wasn't always everyone's cup of tea, but you know what, he just genuinely cared. And of all the people who, who took the piss out of him and, knocked him down for his style of coaching and stuff, he was still the one standing in the industry. Everyone else left. They all disappeared. And there he was, still going, just wanting to help people and just make a difference. Always respected him for that. Always respected him for that. Again, my train of thought just comes and goes. It really, it's just been like this all day, just thinking about the times that we worked together, and the kind of fun that we had. I remember we made like an Austin Powers video, and I put the Austin Powers music to it, and he was dancing around Covent Garden in what was my Halloween Austin Powers costume, and that I remember him saying that was like one of the most liberating experiences that he ever did, and people were coming over and they were taking photos with him and stuff as well, and it was just the most funniest thing that we ever did together. And then he had some of his clients. I remember there was this one guy, I don't remember his name, like this really, really big guy who I can only describe as like a gentle giant. It was a bit like the guy like in the Green Mile, and he'd had a speech impediment and a lisp, and he was bullied like his whole life. And Johnny had taken him out, had filmed him, and he'd taken him out, and he had got chatting to this Australian girl, and he got the number, and he was just so over the moon. I don't know if that was either his first number that he ever got, or if that was like the result of like the 6-week coaching that Johnny did with him. And then he came back, and Johnny, I remember he had his arms in the air, and he went over to him and he just hugged him. And it was just the most, it sounds weird. It really was one of the most emotional things that I'd seen. He was just so proud of him, that of all these adversities they'd gone through, and he just managed to overcome them in just that, literally just a very simple moment, in something as small as just asking for a number. But Johnny cared. That that for me was the takeaway. And even when I was working with other dating coaches as well on their businesses, and even with doing my coaching now, he was a role model for me. He was just such an inspiration. He was just that guy who I felt just set the precedence of such a premium service, and a guy who genuinely cared to make a difference with people, however much he was struggling, and he'd always put others first before himself. And to know that he's just struggled is I think just a very hard pill to swallow. And just knowing, like, as well, in like his last few days, just how alone he was, really. You just see it in his videos, just how what he says with his struggles, with his negative beliefs, those voices just kind of like kick in and say shit to him that knock him down, and just how perhaps maybe he was getting bullied online still. It honestly, it genuinely breaks my heart with it, for such a good guy to be gone. So yeah, I didn't really I didn't really know what I was going to do with this video, to be honest. I just sort of felt like it was just important to just get, I don't know, just express something, and how I really am just so worried with the mental health in this industry, and it generally pisses me off when there are coaches all around the world who almost like deny that this needs to be worked on, or that they don't offer anything to work on it. And that, you know, the idea with going to a dating coach, it's all fun. You're going to have all this fun and meet women. It's going to solve all your life problems. And you haven't been there when I've had to genuinely support these coaches to prevent them from killing themselves. And it hurts even more when I'm not aware of things that I could have maybe have done to intervene with as well. It really does hurt. All I'll say is, guys, please, if you have worries, anxieties, fears, any kind of mental illness and stuff, please work on that first before you put yourself out there in this dating industry, in this dating community or circle, whatever. Johnny, I would say, was probably the best of us. As much as people might say, like, oh, you know, he couldn't handle the day game industry or the pickup industry, it wasn't. In my view, it wasn't the case of that at all. He had his demons from his past, and he was able to work on them over the last decade or so anyway. And in a way, making video content was a therapy for him. And he was someone who literally went through hell and back, got knocked down by everyone, and still got up to carry on giving people more help. And if that's not a man of honor, I don't know what is. That he struggled really to make sure that other people could learn from the troubles that he had, in the hopes that they would get better. So if you have any sort of problem, please talk to someone. Please, I'm begging you, just please, please, please talk to someone. I really do not want to be hearing of more people killing themselves or doing something stupid in this industry, because otherwise it shouldn't exist. It's clearly then doing worse than good. If people are either getting too addicted to the world of it, or they're using it as a distraction from the actual problems that they have that they need to be working on. Just, please, just speak to someone, speak to a doctor, speak to a friend. If you don't even want to go to a coach, I mean, blimey, just fuck it. Just buy me a coffee and we can just sit and just talk about stuff. But I can't be hearing of more people taking their lives in this industry. I really can't. I just can't. You'd have thought like you'd be almost more desensitized to it by hearing like, oh, another person's taken their life or another one. But no, it actually almost gets worse. That I feel like I'm in like a bubble where everyone is literally dying around me, and almost in like some like weird like Final Destination style thing, like as if like I'm going to be somewhere down that line. And in fact, even verbalizing that just sounds really fucking stupid, but just speak to someone, please. I'm begging you. I can't deal with hearing of more people self-harming or doing something stupid or taking their lives. I can't. I can't. So, well, I'll just end it there anyway. Look, Johnny, if you're listening, for what it's worth, I really hope that you found the peace that you were looking for. I can assure you that people will miss you a lot. You had the most purest of messages for people, and I really hope that you find your peace. Yeah.